Okay, so I'm at work, right? And you know how you when you have to make up certain words or whatever like that, passwords and stuff and things like that. So I happened to use at the time as one of the passwords, I happened to use my daughter first name and her last name. And I gave it to someone, and it kind of it kind of shocked me because she was like, "Oh, you and your daughter have the same last name," and I was like, "Yeah, we got the same last name." But I didn't realize I said it in a way because she was like, "Oh goodness," but I was thinking like, why would you ask me a question like that? Like that's family. Of course, me and my daughter has the same last name. And then she said, "You so." She said in that way like, "So you got your marital last name," and I'm looking at her like, "Yeah," but then I looked at her and said, "How you know that was in my maiden last name?" But I mean, I just thought that that was just really interesting. Not that it was a big deal, but she was just really like, "Oh, y'all got the same last name." Maybe because her children don't have the same last name as her. Um, but yeah, mine got the same last name, and I am not silly, meaning I'm not ignorant. I know there are a lot of mothers out here that have different last names than their um their children, but I don't know what she was expecting. Like, I don't know. And I guess the way I said it, like, of course, that's my daughter. Of course, she's going to have the same last name as me. And so when I said that, I assumed, like, that's family. That's, yeah, she got the same last name as me. But then she took it as though, so you got your marital last name. And I'm like, yeah. But it's my last name. It's my name. It's my last name. So, history behind my last name. When I first got married, um, I think it took me about a good year. I didn't change my name. And my husband at the time, my covenant husband, he wanted me to change my name. I mean, you had to go through I mean, he was hooping and hollering how, you're my wife and we're supposed to have the same last name and you don't have the same last name and I'm like, okay, fine, fine, fine. So I go down to the Social Security building. And of course, with your whole birth certificate, you got to get that. You got to get your Social Security. You got to go to all of that. You got to show your marital certificate, all of that, and I got my name changed to Ramona Hines. Gosh, like why? Look, you gonna burn in hell doing all of that stuff. So I'm gonna have to block you wherever you are. So anywho, I went and I got my name changed. And I remember when my husband gave me the divorce decree, and I was thinking, well, I guess I'll have to change my name back. And my mother was like, no, don't change your name back because of reasons, because of your daughter and all of this other. And I'm like, okay. But later on, God showed me the significance of marriage. So I don't plan to change my name back anyway. My father, when he walked me down the aisle, he walked me down the aisle and I was under my father's last name and he gave me over to my husband and I went under his last name. I'm the real McCoy. I'm the real deal. So, and I don't plan to change it either. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. For the longest time, my mother had she I think she just recently got her maiden name, but she was still. I'm not even sure if she did or not. Did she? I don't think she did. She was still under my father name, and I remember. us having a conversation literally a couple of months ago, and my mother was talking about that she was, going to revert and change. Like, I ain't going through all of that. I'm not going through all of that. And so, but anyway, the lady, she was very surprised that I had my she was surprised that my daughter didn't have the same name as me. That didn't make sense. But then she mentioned that when she gets married, that she was going to hyphenate her family name and then keep her husband name. Now I know that it's very important, especially when you do obituaries, and especially when you do marriage names. You basically have to put your maiden name on it so people can know what family line you came from and your family roots and all that other stuff or whatever. And that's all well fine and good. That's good. But it never crossed my mind since I have been in. It did cross my mind at the beginning when I was going through this my whole divorce thing. At the beginning when he was dragging me all up in court, and then after it was final, I just thought, or I assumed, that I had to um change my name back or something like that, because I just thought that that was the thing. But no, and again, what God showed me, we became one anyway. So that's the reason why the wife takes the husband's last name, because she's going one under him. So that's how that goes. And it's been so long that I don't even think about that. So when somebody brought that up and was like, your daughter has the same last name as you, and I'm like, yeah. Oh, you have. And the way she was like, dang, Mona, you saying yeah. I'm like, I ain't mean to say it like that, but I'm just thinking like she's my daughter. Like, what last name was she supposed to have? And the reason why I was thinking that is because my last name is Hines. So my daughter's last name would be Hines. But she was thinking as though, oh, you still have your husband's last name. And I'm like, does that change who I am? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It just threw me for a loop that like you were literally thinking that way. And it was like, I'll never I'll never. And she was like, I wouldn't change my last name. I would hyphenate. And I'm like, whatever. God knows who I am. And yeah. But I just thought that was really interesting. And then I said kind of sarcastically, how you know that my last name is not my maiden name? And she didn't say anything. I like, how did you know that that wasn't my how you didn't know that? How why wouldn't you think that that was my maiden name then? What is that? Is that a crack? I know that ain't no daggone crack. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. But yeah, she was like, your daughter got the same name as you? She got the same name as her father. Shoot. But yeah, she does got the same name as me. And I'm like, where was this? What other name was there supposed to be? When she was born in this world, she was born, and when she was born from me, and my last name when she was born was Hines. Like, what the heck? And so I just thought that it was really pretty interesting. And then it just gave me this flashback of when I got my name changed. I never missed my maiden name. I never missed my maiden name because both names to me has a ring to it anyway. But but yeah, I never. I mean, I guess it would be. Oh, you think about it. I heard. I heard. I'm starting to really think about it. I heard like years ago, a family member of mine, they did not want these folks to be married. And they were so adamant about the divorce that the person actually wanted the person not to carry the last name. And that was brought to my attention a while ago. And I was just like, whoa. It's amazing because when we were in court, everything that my in-laws was fighting for, from dishes, can you freaking believe, I think my mind was on a total nother level. It was on something else. I didn't even pay attention to some of the verbiage and some of the the pages that was in this divorce decree, but some of it was down to the freaking dishes. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm like, are you talking about this cup that was from down south? You really are upset, huh? But I'm like, y'all went through all of that, but now one time did they even touch the last name? Not that it would have been a big what to do then, because my heart was basically like, the way I was feeling and what my husband was putting me through, I was hoping that a bus would have hit him head on. I'm just being honest. I ask God for forgiveness because that's not the way I feel, because I was just so upset with him. Like, how could you put me through all of this after I had your baby? After I had your baby, like after I went through a C-section? Like, really? Like, how could you put me through all of that? So anyway, getting back to the last name. I just thought it was really interesting that that she asked me about that. I thought it was really, really interesting that she was surprised that me and my daughter got the same last name. And I guess it's even more surprising that I guess it's even more surprising that women out here or put away wives, and women still carry on the last name after all of what you went through. People would expect for you to hurry up and strip that name off of you. Not that it would change the circumstances of your covenant, but and so the reason why, yeah, because again, my mother, she went through a divorce as well. She got her bill of divorce. She was the one who filed for it because my father abandoned his family then, and she kept her married last name um, for up until recently. I'm not even sure if she changed it. I have to look through some mail and see if her name has changed. I don't think she changed it, but I remember her saying that she was going to do it, but she didn't. And even when my father passed away, my mom, she was, even when my father passed away, in the obituary, she was down with her maiden name, but the last name was there. And out of all the women, and I told y'all this before, out of all of the women that was at my father's funeral, the other women were like his sisters and friends and stuff, but his original covenant wife, no longer bound anymore, was at that funeral. She ironed my father's pants, his garments, and everything. I out of because I knew my father's situation, and out of respect, because at the end of the day we all loved my dad, I went ahead and put his friend that basically committed adultery with my father and put a wedge between my father and my mother. I even added her in the obituary because my father had a child, but the child did not survive. But out of respect, because I know that my father was still, they weren't dating, but they were still like, talking to each other like from time to time. She didn't even show up at the funeral. And I think it was because of embarrassment, being the side chick that she is. Well, she's an older woman now, but I thought to myself, out of all those years, Even when my father was going through some stuff, you calling because you going through some stuff too, and I'm just checking on your father and this, that, and the third. Out of all of that time, you didn't even show up to my father's funeral. Can you believe that? The same women that you run out here with that help cause a havoc in your house don't even show up to your own daggone funeral. I guess the embarrassment kind of click when you don't really want to face. Everybody's like, who is she? Oh, I don't know what that was all about, but I just thought like, and I did not, and I know she called because she wanted like a copy of my father's obituary, but I was like, I'm not even gonna do that. If you can't even show up for somebody that you knew when I was a little girl, when I would see you wandering around my father, knowing my father was married, and then I went ahead and out of truth put you down on that obituary and you didn't even show your face. That's what get me with some of y'all, you know what? Because I could have been going ham on everybody. And what I mean by that, I could have been straight selfish. You ain't going in there, you ain't going in there, you ain't going in there. I don't care. But I went ahead and I put down the truth for some things because when my father did pass away, her and her mama were in tears, and I just said, and he remembered them. He talked to them, he conversated with them. So out of respect, but I said, Dad, the same people. When you're long and gone, those people don't even show up for your daggone funeral. They help cause a wedge with your family, but don't even show up. But the one you did wrong was there to make sure that your going away service was respectful. And it was my mother. One thing that my mother wouldn't do though, she wouldn't accept the flag. So I went ahead and accepted the flag on behalf of my dad. But she picked out the casket, his clothes. We went through his closet. She had them to make sure they put a band, around my father's head, on his body. But it was like, she did all that. The food, me and her, we went over the food and what the obituary could say. I showed her some of the stuff. And after it was all said and done, after going to the funeral, and after it was all said and done, she called me when everybody was going to the wake, and not wake, but the repast. She called me and told me that she's really tired and she's going to be gone for a couple of days. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't know how I got all the way across the yonder about my last name. I do not know. I don't know how I got across there. I don't know. I really do not know. Mm. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, she thought it was like a big surprise that my last name is the same as my daughter's. It wasn't even so much as the person came out. It was like you still got your husband's last name. It wasn't even so much it was a surprise to that. It was more so that me and my daughter had the same last name. And then I was like, yeah, of course she got the same, like me thinking I'm her mom, of course she's gonna have my last name. Like, what other last name is she gonna have? And then she said, that's your marital name? And I'm like, yeah. But then I was like, how you didn't. So that, okay, now I understand. So she was probably thinking like I changed my name after my divorce. So that's what she was probably thinking, is like she has her dad's last name and I have my original, what I used to have last name. But I'm like, no, we both got the same last name. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting the way people think. And the crazy part about it is I wouldn't even be thinking about it. I wouldn't even have noticed it
until somebody pointed it out. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody has ever pointed it out, not in my circle, not my mom. I remember at the beginning when I was going through it, I was so mad. My mother was like, no, you keep your last name. And I was like, all right. And I think it was for two reasons why my mother basically told me to do that. Um, Honestly, I think it's three reasons why. But I'm not going to go into detail why I think she told me to do that. But I just was like, you know what? Yeah. Do I plan on changing my last name? No, I don't. The last name is literally an event in my life. Like when I was born into this world, I was born through a marriage, and that was my father and my mother, and I took on their last name. When my name changed, just because I got married and gave up my last name and took on a new last name under my husband, and then my child, it was born through a marriage. Now I get it. Everybody have their own whatever, or if they want to change or whatever. I don't want to get in. That's something you want to do. That's something you want to do. You want to go back to your original, go back to your original. If not, or whatever. But that is one of those events in my life where, you know, I understand now that I really never paid attention to back then when I was going through the process and emotions, not emotions, but going through the process of getting married. That when my father gave me over, he, the preacher said, who would give this woman over or to be, and my father said, I do. I then We're transferring from my father. I'm no longer cleaving to my mother and my father and my mother, but I am cleaving to my husband, and then I took on his last name. So, yeah. I mean, I don't have to explain that, but again, I haven't spoke about that in a long time. Haven't spoke about those things in a minute. I haven't spoken about that in a minute. Now, what if the man I married, what if he dies? Then what? Well, if he dies, then I might still be the same. It would still be the same. And if I decided that I wanted to marry again in the Lord, which I ain't, because ain't no, the men out here are not faithful. So I ain't. But if I decided to remarry again, then my name would change again. You know, it would change again. But like I said, I'm done. I'm done with the games. Not saying it's the games, but that's not my forte. That's not my forte. That's not what I'm into. That's not, It's so amazing too when people try to talk you into committing adultery, because they are. I had a lady tell me, you know, I used to feel that way for the longest time. There wasn't nobody there for me. But there is always someone, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. The only thing I want to do is have fun, travel, throw lavish parties, and go home in the comfort of my own bed. I don't want any of that. I don't. I got used to being by myself. It sounds nice. Invite me to the wedding. I would speak. I would toast. I'll tell everybody, if you commit adultery, you're going straight to hell, because you are. Why would I even invite it into my world? But anywho, other than that, today I was literally trying to look up what are those things called? Welcome to Maryland. I don't know if y'all can hear this car, but it talks. It'd be like, welcome to such and such. And don't go on a road trip and have something to pop up and be like, you want to take a coffee break? I'm like, do you want to take over and drive? I'm trying to get on this daggone cruise ship with my daughter. That's all it's about. Oh my goodness, is this cruise ship. And you know what? I realized I have to get us on this cruise ship. We said our little prayers, and she was like, and thank you for the cruise. I said, oh, that's it. We going on a cruise. We was just sitting there looking at that cruise ship. Yeah, but that's all I have to really say about that. I mean, everybody has their reasons why they change it and change it back and you go back and forth to it. Everybody has their reasons behind certain things. You know, personally, it's like God tell you don't touch it, I ain't touching it. When somebody do wicked things, yeah, so, and you know, everybody has their reasons behind certain stuff, but I'm good where I'm at. I'm good with my last name. I'm good. I'm not running back to change nothing. And I'm not, I mean, I can't remarry anybody else, so I mean, what the heck? Got rid of my daggone last name because I became one and he switched like a 10 speed. I'm sorry, y'all. It's funny though when you think about it. I mean, no, that's not funny, but y'all know what I mean. I'm not gonna go through all of the whatever back, and I'm not doing all of that, you know, because even if when I think about it, if I would have switched my name back, it would have looked as though my daughter was born out of wedlock. It would have literally looked as though that. And I know some people are like, well, I did it. Well, no. But it would have looked like that. It would have looked like, you know, and some people, it's not a big deal that people got different last names. You know, it's just, it is what it is. Like most women, when they're not married to the father or the husband or whatever, their children usually takes the father last name regardless, unless it's some other stuff that's going on, they would take their last name. But you know, I was just not going to do that. And again, at the beginning, because he, you know, I was going through divorce and I didn't know what the protocol was. I thought, but then, you know, it's just, you know, I mean, it is what it is. But she was really shocked, like, y'all got the same last name? I'm like, yeah. And I guess you would assume that because most people know that most children take the father's last name. So I guess her thing was she got to have her father's last name. So you still got your married last name? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Is that a crime? Is that a crime? You still got your marital last name? And I still got my wedding rings too. I still got my wedding band too. Not that that would make a difference, but it's a lot of things I still have. I still have a covenant over me and between my husband, the one that I married, that if I marry somebody else, I commit adultery. So that's way more worse than a daggone last name. That's way more sacred. I still got this. I still got this fence around me. Let me stop it. Let me stop. Nah, for real, it is what it is. It is what it is, darlings. Devotion. They got this new movie that's coming out called Devotion. It is what it is, darlings. It's just not proper for a married woman to change her name, even though her husband is the one who put her away with the divorce decree. It's just not proper. It's just not the way of life. Y'all could tell I'm silly and I'm tired. I can't wait to get home. I can't wait to go home. Because as soon as I walked through the door, hi, Mommy. It's good to see you. I said, it's good to see you too. You know what my baby said to me last night? She said, Mommy, I'm so proud of you. And I said, oh, sweets, I'm proud of you too. I said, wow, my baby be telling me she's so proud of me. I remember my mom used to say that to me when I was younger. And I remember even when I was married, my husband used to say little things like that. He used to kiss me on my forehead. And I say encouraging things to my daughter just to see my little 7-year-old. She'd be like, I'm so proud of you. I just be like, and she be talking about that, she be talking about that daggone cruise ship. I just called them too to try to figure out, do I have to have passports to take to actually take my daughter on a cruise, and they're like, no, you do not. I said, bet. We just gonna make an adventure out of it. We just gonna make an adventure out of it. But that's all I have to pretty much say about that. I just thought that was really interesting. That's very interesting. She was like, you still, wait a minute, you got your married name? Like, yeah. I do. I should have went. I'm gonna go to the gym maybe tomorrow. I'm trying to. Okay, y'all. So I'm back at it again. I'm trying to lose some weight again. I'm still doing pretty good, but I need to tighten up batten down the hatches, tighten up the bolts, and I'm like, I need to literally go to the gym and work out like how I used to work out. I just been on my lazy stuff, and I need to be consistent. This time when I start to see results, instead of me thinking like, I don't need to work out today because look, I look good. I don't need to do nothing now. I'm feeling great. I fell off the wagon and then start eating all types of stuff, and then was like, you know what, I'll go tomorrow, and tomorrow come, I'll go the next day come, I'll just, next thing you know, you like, hold up, I was psyched that I was getting back into a size 2. Now I went from a 2 to a daggone 6. What's going on? It's 6/8 6 going back and forth, and I'm like, hold up, I gotta get back. But yeah, so I started going back to the gym this past weekend. I usually run on the treadmill for about 30 minutes, and then I go swimming for about a good 30-45 minutes, and then I hit the sauna And that's another thing too. I don't know what's going on, but you know, back in the day, when we would go to the gym, there would be grown women in the sauna, and you better not ever step your behind in the sauna with your tennis shoes on, with your sweat gear on, like you've been literally pumping weights and running on a treadmill all sweat up, and you didn't even wash your body before you got up in the sauna. Them women would have cursed you out and embarrassed you in front of everyone. Because I'm back in my day, like, they used to be like, excuse me, ma'am, but could you go wash off or put on a bathing suit before you come up in this sauna? Now I be going up in there and it be chicks up in there fully clothed. I'm talking about in the gym sitting there, and I'm like, y'all know this is cheating, right? I'm the only one up in there that done rinsed out, got her bathing suit on, her towel, properly dressed, and y'all up in here with sweatpants and tennis shoes and sweats. One lady was up in there actually working out. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. I had to tell them people, I don't pay this type of money to be sitting in the sauna and don't nobody feel like washing their behinds. Just, you know. It just ain't right. My sister bought me one for my birthday too. She bought me one of them the portable saunas. But, and I know some of y'all sitting on here like, dag, I do that too. I do go to the gym fully. And you know what it is too? LA Fitness is famous for that. I don't know what happened. But you have to have a bathing suit on or a towel. You know? Like, you couldn't just go up in there. You couldn't now. And I'd be like, I don't know what's going on. Y'all just be sitting there with y'all sweatpants and stuff on, just funky. Here go my sister, sour. I said, I don't know what's going on. This ain't right. You don't pay extra for that type of, uh, for a sauna, and everybody, they looking at you like you crazy. And the whole time the sign says you must take a shower before you enter, have on some swimwear. Y'all in here with sweatpants and things. And I'm sure that the men's locker room, I'm sure they don't go up in there with their, y'all look, I done switched like a 10-speed. I went from talking about maiden names to saunas and people with tennis shoes on. I'm just saying, like, I be looking like, y'all really gonna do this? Y'all really gonna come in and I be the only one up in there, with a bathing suit on. I'm like, this is just wrong. One lady, she just, I don't know, homegirl, she shows up. She has her mask on. And it's like she just be in there. I'm like, why don't you take your mask off if you want to breathe? Like, I don't want to look beside and you done passed out and went on to be with the Lord and didn't nobody know because you got your mask on and you can hardly breathe. It's like, you can't hardly breathe in a sauna anyway. Anywho, so let me stop, y'all. But anyway, that's LA Fitness Chronicles. They didn't, I don't know what in the world they did after they, took over Bally's. Because Bally's, I'm trying to tell you, Bally's Total Fitness, that was like the place to be. Like, you would go there 5 in the morning before you went to work, you working out, and it was like a competition. It wasn't even really like a competition, but you learn so many things. You learn how to eat healthy. And some of the women that I met, they were so funny, but they were very professional, very, very professional. But I remember one lady, she was talking about even the stuff where you hang your towel on, how, no, you don't hang your towel on that because it's certain particles. Like, they were very like, like, I need to get around women like that. Like, I don't know what in the world. Nowadays, you go up in there, you looking over, you like, what is that? Are those weights in the sauna? Goodness. Like, did I see you out there pumping iron with the guys and you really in the sauna? Stop it. So I don't know. It's just interesting things. But anyway, getting back to what I was talking about. So I am literally on a mission to lose the weight that I want to lose so I can feel healthy. I don't feel the thing is, as a 40-year old, I still feel good. And that's because I'm still active. Like I still go jogging. I still go jogging. I still have to do things around the yard or whatever like that that keeps me, up there. But it's certain things that I'm just like, my body's just like, you're not going to lift that, are you? I'll be like, nope, I'm not. And my daughter sometimes, Mommy, could you pick me up? And I'm like, you are like a sack of potatoes. I'm like, no. But why? I'm like, because Mama's back. That's why. But no, it's not my back. It's just at certain times I just be like, I cannot do it. But I am going to be on this mission to lose 20 pounds. I just want to get to the ideal weight that I want to get to, because there are certain clothes that I would like to fit in. And I feel like too, when I'm fit and all that excess fat is not on me, you feel a difference. Like for instance, you don't feel heavy when you walking up the steps, you know? You just feel different. Like I will honestly say I don't feel old. A lot of people be like, "Oh, we getting up there." And I'm like, "Shoot, I don't look old." I mean, what I mean by that is that I don't feel like back in the day, like back in the 80s, in the 90s, the 40-year-olds back there, they were really obese. Now people are more like into their health, and I got a baby, man. I got to keep up with her. When she hit the road running, I got to be running right along with her. I want her to be like, Mommy, catch your breath. I want her to be like, wait. That's like this little thing she was on, right? It was like this little, it's like a zip line type of thing, but the kids, they have to climb on something, or a parent will have to hold them and push them. But the zip line will only stop like halfway, right? So I put my daughter on and I said, hold on tight, okay? Hold on tight. She's like, okay. I'm like, hold on tight, do not let go. So instead of me pushing her, once she got on it, she went down the zip line and I pushed her, but I was running behind her and I pushed her again. And I was like, hold on, Tails, hold on. And she said, I'm holding on. And then when it hit the other side, it yanked back. And then all she had to do was go back on the other side. But I was running with her and pushing her. Their parents was looking at me like, oh, you did that, now I'm going to have to run with my kid too. And I'm like, y'all get in the gym. Y'all need to get in the gym. But nah, I am going to go. Even if it's not the gym, I need to start. My thing is the belly fat. It's not even the belly fat, it's the pooch. And it's not even the pooch. It's because, my office, I'm sitting down on a chair. And when you're sitting down for 8 years, you're not using that muscle that you used to use. Now, all of a sudden, out of all these years, where did the roly-poly come from? So now I got to work extra hard to get rid of that, because I'm not going to no Sonobello. I ain't cutting nothing off. I ain't getting no daggone BBLs, because that's the last thing I need is to close my eyes and God be looking at me. So you didn't think that, you didn't think that you could have prayed and asked for good health, and I could have led you in a way. I didn't want to go through all that, so I'm just going to have to do the old school way. Work it out. My thing is just that I need to stick with it. I need to stick with it. I need not to get conceited and be like, I don't need to go to the gym today. I'll just eat some of this pie and this ice cream. I need to say, no. Give me some water, some juice, because I did juice today. I'm proud of myself. I did make me some juice for my Vitamix. I had what did I have in it? Y'all, I had some greens. I had an apple. I also had some apricot seeds. Y'all know apricot seeds cure cancer? Yeah, you heard me right. Apricot seeds. See how hard it is to get it in the USA. You know why? I did not want you to know that. I put some of that. My drink was real tangy. Them apricot seeds ain't no joke. But they even did a study in China. They found like apricot seeds cure breast cancer, prostate cancer, and it's really good to like take apricot seeds as a precaution, just because they have so many great things for your health, especially curing the C, because it don't seem like scientists these days are looking to cure anything. But yeah, so what else did I have? I had my blueberries that was up in there, my strawberries that was up in there. I was like, yeah, I got my vitamins. I got everything I need. So I'm gonna juice again for tomorrow. And I'm gonna tell you something too. If you ever been trying to get rid of like stubborn fat, juicing is really good. Look at that documentary. What is that? Rose may be icy. Why would the rose be icy? This vehicle got a nerve to be letting me know what's going on. Yo, I don't. It's 37 degrees outside. You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but last week it was like 78. Now all of a sudden it's 37 degrees. And I was thinking to myself, like, the time is flying. I was finally able to get the tarp put on the pool, finally. But I still got to get my other pool filter and drag that thing around the back. But I'm just like, where is the dag on time going? The Bible says that when a nation becomes smart, I'm saying it verbatim, but when a nation becomes smart, then the time speeds up. I read that. I really read that. I'm saying it verbatim, but yeah. And I'm like, the time is flying. Like, in the next couple of weeks, not even a couple of weeks, in the next week and some days, it's going to be Thanksgiving. It's going to be Thanksgiving. And, people are like, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? Like, shoot, I'm really trying to take me and my daughter somewhere. The traditional sitting at the table for me and my family is not... My mother doesn't eat meat. I don't eat meat. My father went on to be with the Lord. And you already know my husband's situation. I have no needs to run out here and grab a ham and a turkey because I don't eat neither. But I may just make my potato salad just so I can bring it around my Nana and be like, what you think, Nana? So she can think, did I make this? Nope, 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 nope. Your favorite granddaughter did. I did. It took me years to figure out your recipe. And I knew you was holding back. And I figured it out. I figured it out. Y'all, I'm going to tell y'all right now. Nobody makes a potato salad like I make a potato salad. I make the Creole Louisiana potato salad. It took me years, and I'm talking about years. Even when I was with my husband, I was trying to figure out. But I have perfected the method. Don't nobody make potato salad like I do. And I'd be proud of my potato salad. I'd be like, you know what? It was funny. My brother's girlfriend was like, you gotta show me how to make this. I said, I'll tell you what. When you become my sister-in-law, I'll let you know the ingredients. My brother was cracking up like, Mona, you play too much. I said, I'll tell you what. Oh man, my mother is so sweet. She really is. Oh man, Ma, you didn't have to. Oh, my mom just grabbed all of the leaves, the bag of leaves that I had around back and dragged them to the front. You didn't have to, Ma. I was going to get to that. I was going to put on my boots. All right, y'all, my neighbor got his Christmas lights out here, and I'm just like, you press. Nah, it looks nice, though. Anyway, thanks for listening to me babble about the whole last name situation. Going to the gym. I cannot believe good night tonight. Try not to work too hard in the morning. Try not to work too hard. Let me go ahead and get up in here. Is there anything that I need to grab from this vehicle? I would really like to, well, wouldn't it be nice? I guess we're getting into that time when vehicles are starting to drive by themselves, but it would be nice to be just chilling and I'm like just talking. I don't know. I mean, we getting to that age, but I think it's just to that era. But I think it's just you want to have to deal with a whole bunch of accidents first so they can perfect it. But anyway, y'all have a good